Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at uranium energy. It is time for another update, and today we'll be discussing the latest developments, the failure to hold here the internal area of support to form a larger wave tree to the upside, as well as the implications of such a failure. But I can already tell you this, while it didn't work out to form the larger structure we were tracking, does provide significant clarity to what we should be looking for here on this chart. But before we get there, I would like to go quickly through the larger time frame for any of you who might be new. And here we are still tracking this idea of a series of 1-2 setups that could have formed, where now we could see a third wave to the upside unfolding. Now the thing is, within this wave tree we would expect to form an impulse, and this isn't necessarily the case, so we need to be aware that while we expect in both interpretations that we are tracking within this area additional highs, one of them actually could allow quite significant retracements in more than one scenario. After forming here an additional high in the short time frame, we should be prepared for quite significant decline, unless it is the hyper bullish scenario that we are tracking here in blue. In the blue interpretation, instead of tracking a diagonal structure either in a wave 1 or a wave C in some interpretations, we would be considering a potential series of 1-2 setups in this area, possibly 4, possibly 5 1-2 setups, and we haven't even labeled all of this because it would just clutter up the chart. And if this 1-2 setup is to fail, the latest 1-2 setup, we would actually have to dismiss the entire scenario anyway. So cluttering up the previous interpretation doesn't really provide much value. And while so far we did hold here this area of support for the blue interpretation, I have to tell you, this is not a high probability scenario. It is a bit unrealistic to actually be tracking here series of 1-2 setups to such a significant degree, also considering on the larger time frame we are doing the same thing. And not only that, in this area we are also not forming an impulse, at least not so far. And while it could work out within a series of 1-2 setups in this smaller time frame as well, if this really was a third wave to the upside as expected here in the blue scenario, we would really like it to have already started. We would like it to already go. But as I was mentioning, while it is not a high probability scenario, it's not, it does still have the opportunity to work out, and we still need to be a bit patient and allow even more bullish interpretations. But probably we would end up seeing here play out the white interpretation, in which we are tracking a larger diagonal structure, where with a wave 1 up here, a wave 2 down, a third wave up, fourth wave down, and then a fifth wave to be unfolding in this area within an ABC structure. And we have here the area of support that allows this correction still to find additional lows in this wave 4 in white, all the way down to the $9 level. So we don't have yet any significant confirmation that this structure has bottomed, even though we were able to quite accurately predict when a bottom is likely to form. We don't have any significant confirmation level yet occurred, because we only really have 3 wave patterns to the upside. Here internally we have a 3 wave move to the upside, another 3 wave move to the upside here, and now we have a potential 5 wave move, but it is on such a small time frame that it could work out within many interpretations, and it is not the first 1-2 setup. It is not the high probability setup that has formed within this area. Now in this area, in this overall correction, in the previous videos we were looking for specifically this area of resistance between the $12.5 all the way up to the $15.7 that could prove more difficult to actually get through. And we were eyeing specifically here the 61.8% retracement as we were dealing with the golden ratio, and also very significant structural support levels that were all the way here from the $13.9 level all the way up to the $15 level. And I was pointing specifically, as we have quite a few peaks, quite a few weeks perfectly into the 61.8% retracement, and already we have gotten rejected a couple of times at this level. It is already the second time that we had a more significant rejection occur when we pushed into the 61.8% retracement. Now for the smaller time frame, in the previous video we were tracking a couple of scenarios that could be worked out to the upside, and we were considering either a possible bottom of this correction in the wave 4 here, the actual bottom, but we were also considering here a possible distortion occur where this candle opened very low, but it was a very sharp recovery in just a couple of minutes, and we were considering even this as the possible low for the wave 4, and we were looking for a potential 5-wave move to the upside. But since we have failed to hold here the 50% retracement, this interpretation doesn't really work out anymore. We have failed to form here the larger wave 3 within an impulse, and now we have quite a few possibilities within this area. And firstly, I would probably consider the most likely to actually have the wave 4 bottom here and have this as the wave 1 top, a wave 2 bottom, a third wave top would work out here, and then we could have the fourth wave correction and then a fifth wave that would be unfolding right now. And in this interpretation, we would be tracking a large leading diagonal to be forming to the upside, where in the wave 4, we have retraced perfectly into the 38.2% retracement, where we have gotten our reversal to the upside. Let me remind you, the 38.2% retracement being the ideal target for wave 4, we had a 3-wave correction into it, and we started this reversal to the upside. And while this isn't the only interpretation that could work out for this chart, if this area of support doesn't hold, if this 61.8% retracement doesn't hold, we should be prepared for a more significant failure and possibly even a reset of this entire correction. Even in other interpretations that could work out within this structure to the upside, this is probably the last level of support that we can be tracking for continuation still higher. And I am at the moment considering a couple of options. So firstly, here in the smaller time frame, I could consider that the wave 4 has bottomed and that we are in the fifth wave to the upside, where I would actually still like to form an additional high to form a large ABC movement. That would play out very nicely and provide us a very interesting 5-wave move to the upside in a potential wave A. And let me remind you, even in a wave 1, but another possibility is to actually still be within this larger wave 4, where we wouldn't necessarily need to have bottomed yet. We could have a larger ABC movement still play out and still allow a deeper retracement, a deeper reset within this wave 4 before continuing in a fifth wave to the upside in this area. We have only gotten a small overshoot, a small push beyond the previous wave 3 top, so nothing too significant that could not see a reset. So now we are looking here at the $13.3 level, all the way, or at the area between the $13.3 level all the way down to the $11.7 level for support for a potential reversal and continuation to the upside. And while it isn't necessarily a high probability trade setup from this time frame, I wouldn't recommend looking for a trade setup for a fourth and a fifth here. But if you're looking from a larger time frame perspective, we are still here into the area of support. We are in the larger area of support in white and in blue that we were expecting, we were tracking ever since we formed here this local top for a reversal to the upside. There is no guarantee that we will get all the way down to the levels that have been reached previously within this correction, and from a large time frame perspective, this could be actually an interesting area to look for a position, but again, not from the small time frame, not from the time frame where we are looking here for a potential larger leading diagonal. This, all we could really expect here in this fifth wave is an ABC structure. After that, I would actually be looking for a possible top, since we would have a full count, we wouldn't need any additional highs. And as I was mentioning, there are other possibilities. I could be tracking this as a wave 1, a wave 2, and the third wave to be forming in this area, but it isn't necessarily a high probability interpretation. This is not needed to have our larger initial wave 1 or wave A to the upside within a leading diagonal. I say wave A or wave 1 because in the blue interpretation, this would be a wave 1. In the white interpretation, this would be an A wave to the upside. And they would both have a decent probability for a retracement in a wave B or a wave 2 and continuation to the upside. And we will be looking for that area for a potential trade setup, but again, not in this small time frame. This is a low probability area. And what I wanted to provide you else, or other than what we have already discussed, is here the potential ABC structure. Although this does seem to be failing, the momentum to the downside does seem to be increasing, and we already seem to be towards the last levels of support within this push down. But I would be looking here at the levels between the $13.7 all the way down to the $13 level for a potential reversal, where if we break here the 78.6% retracement, well, that would be a signal to me that this structure is likely to fall. It is likely to be looking for an additional low. And while technically we have, from a large time frame perspective, 5 waves up, honestly, this is quite weak for me to be considering a significant wave 5, and I would probably be considering this a large WXY pattern, and yeah, possibly even consider additional lows here within the yellow interpretation that still allows a reset within this large wave 4 in white. And for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.